let's start with seeing reality as it is, um, and go back to, was it 1986 when you had your sort of eureka moment, when you sort of were forced to sit down and realized that perhaps things weren't all as they seemed?
That's right. In 1986, when science sort of forced me to sit down and reconsider perception reality connection. Absolutely, and it was quite a shock.
So can you just paint a bit of a picture about what happened there, and how much of a eureka moment was it?
Well, as a graduate student at MIT, I'd been working on visual perception and specific problems and how do we see in 3D, how do we see motion and so forth. And I also began to work on a general theory of perception, a mathematical model of perception. And so that was in 1981, 1982, 1983. By 1986, at UC Irvine, I'd moved to UC Irvine and was working with Bruce Bennett and Chetan Prakash, developing this mathematical model further. And it had gotten so far that we could begin to ask questions like this. And at one point, when I was discussing with Bruce Bennett the implications of this, it really hit me. Wow, this theory is really telling us that reality may be utterly constructed. The perceptual reality, the things that I see that I took to be objective reality, may just be a subjective reality, more like a user interface and not the truth. And that was such a shock that I actually had to sit down, and I had to take it seriously because I'd been working with the team to develop this mathematics, and so I was listening to what my own theory was saying. So it was not like somebody else's theory; it was my theory that was slapping me in the face. So I had to sit down and pay attention.
And how did that make you feel, and how did it hit other members of the team as well?
Well, I think that Bruce may have already been there. I think Bruce was this genius. I don't know. His IQ was so high. I don't know what it was. He was truly a genius, and I suspect that Bruce wasn't that terribly surprised. I think he was just far more sophisticated philosophically than me. But for me, it was quite a surprise. I'm not sure about for Chetan. Probably he was more sophisticated and understood it as well. So I was probably the Johnny come lately in the group.
And how long did it sort of take for you to internalize it and really accept, okay, this isn't just, well, really, yeah, internalize it and accept it as this is far more likely to be true than what I previously believed. Was it a gradual thing, or was it a sudden thing?
I'm still dealing with it today. Like everybody else. I mean, when I actually look at my own knee-jerk emotional reactions, they're all against this theory. Everything inside me emotionally is against it, and so when people hear these ideas and say that's nonsense, I completely understand. I mean, it's just it. But for me, I have to look at my emotions, and they are what they are. That's the way my emotions work. But then when I actually start doing my mathematical theories, there's this other realm. So it's a little bit of a divide. Intellectually, this becomes very, very clear, but the emotions have yet to catch up. I think they've caught up a little bit, but for me, it's still a shock to think that I'm not seeing reality.